Hello, hello. My name is Aniruddha. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Here, I share the tips and tricks that I have learned along my own watercolor journey so far. Today, we are painting a very simple but classic landscape scene with fields in the foreground and distant misty mountains. I start my scene like I often do with the sky. I pre-wet the area of the paper, the top part of the paper where the sky is, and then gently dropped in the blue color and let it flow downwards. I stopped the blue wash at the point where I wanted the mist to begin. For this first, I smoothened the edge at the end of the blue wash, and then I applied plain water further down till the point I wanted the mist to be. Followed by which I have added a little bit of ochre to denote the spots of the mist where the sunlight is hitting, and a little bit of lavender where the mist is in shadow. Next, onto the mountains. Here too I want to denote some parts being hit by light while others in shadow, and I do that by varying the temperature of my color. The top edge of these mountains isn't visible. It kind of blurs into the mist. So I am just touching that green edge to the wet area that I laid out earlier. I tried denoting those mountains peaking on top of the mist, but it was too early. I should have let the paper dry a little bit more before tackling that section. I'm now charging that wet green wash with a little bit of stronger paint. I need some harder edges where the mountaintops peek through, but the wash is still too wet for that. A lot of my approach is based on improvisation. I see what the paint is doing on the paper and try and react accordingly. I am not trying to create an exact replica of the reference image. That is simply my starting point. What I am trying to do is capture the essence, capture the feeling and the vibe from the reference image. That said, I hope that this video helps you pick up a few pointers from things that go right, but also pick something up from the things that go wrong. Now that the paper is slightly drier, I will come back with the thicker paint to get those slightly more defined edges that I want. I'm also adding more ultramarine to the mix as I know it's a pigment that doesn't move around a lot. Now I will smoothen some of the edges, wait for this cool green paint to dry, and once that's done, start with my warmer foreground colors. Most of the foreground is warm in color. I'm trying hard to vary the color on my brush. Each time I go back to the palette, I pick up color which is slightly different. This helps in creating a sense of variegation and variety in this wash. As I am painting this scene, I realize that I have one too many brushes out on my table at this point. The one I'm enjoying the most is this small goat hair mop brush. It's very similar and characteristic to Chinese calligraphy brushes. It's got very little control, very little snap, which leads to a lot of bold and playful brushstrokes. I'm now moving my wash slowly into the foreground. And as I do that, I am adding greater strength and greater warmth to my wash. I do this to create a greater sense of depth. A few small finishing touches here and there while my wash is still wet. I'm also going to splash in some paint and some water to add further texture to the wash. Right there, I'm touching the light side of the house, but in retrospect, I regret doing that. I should have left that part white. Currently, I'm learning how to leave more white patches in all my paintings. This time around, I've chosen to use a little bit of masking fluid. You can always cover the white, but you can never get the white back. The final thing I'm going to do before this wash dries is to add some grass texture to the foreground. I do this now because I want it to fuzz in with the wet wash and not draw too much attention. I start by laying in a little thicker paint and then using my small flat brush. Its bristles spread by pressing it with my finger to pull out strands of grass. We can now move on to the mid and darker tones. This will create a sense of definition in our painting and it will slowly start to make sense. I'm starting with that shadow in the foreground, again with my flat brush. Notice the care I take in creating the edges to give the impression of grass. You don't have to paint in every strand of grass. It's these edges which will make that area look like a field of grass. Take a look at watercolor paintings by someone like Milind Molk. It's always the care and the love he puts into these edges that give life and excitement to all his work. As I am building up these midtones, I am trying to keep them connected. That house is one of the lightest elements in our painting. To highlight this further, I am making sure that the vegetation at the back of the house is dark. Even within this wash, I am looking to build variation. Wherever I can see dark patches in the reference image, I am adding darker pigment wet in wet and letting it slowly transition into the wet wash. It's near impossible for me to paint in every single leaf or even every single cluster of leaves. I just let my brush dance on the paper surface and create the impression of what I can see. I wanted to create a few scratch marks with my nail to depict branches, but the paint wasn't at the correct level of drying at that point. The bushes I'm painting now, the ones in the midground, appear to be the darkest part of the vegetation. So first I will lay down my paint in a medium consistency and then charge it with darker pigment, something like a Payne's grey in this case. I'll now let all the paint on my paper dry. Once that happens, I will come in with some dark hits of paint and some finishing touches. If you are enjoying my style of painting, you might also enjoy my classes on Skillshare. These are full-length classes with guidance for every step of the painting process. Here, I also offer you feedback on your paintings. There is a link in the description section for this video, which will give you free access to one of my Skillshare classes. And finally, I'm going to add definition to that house. I am going to build up the beams of the roof as they appear in the reference image, and then add some shadow on the parts of the house which are not being hit by the light. I've gone a touch too dark with that shadow, but that's okay. The wash is still wet and I can come back and pull it up with a clean brush. I'm adding some thick dark paint to dry brush in some doors and windows. And we're done. Thank you for joining me in another one of these quick demos. I promise you there will be more soon, as well as videos about some of the materials that I often use. Please remember to do all the YouTube things, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and share it with all your friends who might be interested. I will see you in the next one.